Good evening and welcome back to the Family Cyber Tips Daily, where on Thursdays we focus on digital wellness and balance. Are screens taking over your home? Do you struggle to have a conversation without someone checking their phone? You're not alone. In today's digital world, setting boundaries around technology is crucial for healthy family life. In this video, I'll share simple but powerful ways to create tech-free zones at home so your family can reconnect, communicate, and thrive. Let's get started. So first, we're going to look at why tech-free zones matter. And that's crucial, understanding the brief before we really dive in, okay? Let's talk about the why. It's usually a good way or a good place to start. Studies show that too much screen time can impact family relationships, reduce focus, and even affect sleep. Tech-free zones help create spaces where real conversations happen, where we can present, or even present, but where we can be present with our loved ones and where we build meaningful connections without distractions, okay? So I'm going to make some suggestions on, how we actually choose tech-free zones. And this should relate, especially those of you who are trying this for the first time, okay? So we're going to look at choosing tech-free zones. If you were in the chat, I will ask you where exactly you want me to start. But it's important to start. That's crucial. You must create a tech-free zone if your young ones are online ready, okay? So I'm going to give us 3 great places to establish tech-free zones in the home, since we're focusing in the home. The first place will be the dining table, okay? Make meal times about food and family, not phones and notifications. I find, and please know that because I'm speaking at you doesn't mean that I'm not needing this advice too. As a family, the dining table should be a big no-no. Meal times really need to be about the food. God bless her, the mom or wife who most likely is the one cooking the food. Let me give some men some credit. But it's important that phones are left away, just kept away from the dining table. I saw a video where a family, and I'm hoping I'm not going to do any damage to this beautiful narrative, but there's a video online. You can do some sort of search where a family of 4, so mom, dad, a daughter, and a son, they were sitting preparing for dinner, and a typical picture, she's sad, typical picture is mom is in the kitchen and everybody else is doing something else. So in this particular setting, the dad was on his phone, probably justifying that he's catching up with news. The son was on a game console, the handheld ones, and the young girl was doing her own thing, but they were all on tech. And the mom came back for his ready, and she, comes through, and no one even turns and looks at her, even though she's, supposedly done all the work. And she brings a container or a tray, and the tray has all the gadgets in the house. And she uses a spoon and dishes another game console into her son's plate. Picked up a doll or something and put in the daughter's, and then put every other things, whatever she could find that was tech, into the man's plate. And she turned around and looked at them and said, "Have a good meal." The lesson from that short story, and I hope I've not done it damage, is simply that when it's food time, or meal time, I should say, that should be when the engagement between family, goes up a notch. So if the husband can't cook, no comment. He has to be in the kitchen helping mom or wife, do the food. And of course, the girl and the boy, they should be around mom and dad to learn how to do this, for their time will come, rather than just do tech and ignore, especially mom in this story anyway. So the dining table has to be about food and family, not phones, and certainly not notifications. I stretched that a bit, but hey, it was crucially important to do so. Another place where we should select as a tech-free zone will be the bedroom, okay? We've discussed that screens before bed can disrupt sleep, okay? So having that bright blue light in the kids' eyes, in our eyes even, before bed will definitely disrupt sleep. And sleeping patterns, certainly for the younger ones, is so important. So keep bedrooms a peaceful, tech-free retreat, okay? You thank me later. All right, let's look at the third, and we're just going to start rushing things now. Lawrence, it's your fault. The next area that should be tech-free, as you can see on the screen, is the living room. Some call it the lounge, okay? Encourage games that are family-centered. I was going to say encourage board games, but I have specific games that I like that are not necessarily tech. But there's one that I can't announce because I don't want to do it injustice. It's just too long. You guys may even know already. But encourage board games, reading, and real conversations instead of mindless scrolling on the mobile phone. And I'm as guilty as the other person. But that doesn't mean I must not tell you what is the truth. And you'll find the irony with that statement that I just made. But importantly, encourage reading, encourage real conversations instead of, the mindless scrolling that we all get up to. All right. So those are the areas in the home that can be chosen as tech-free zones. I mentioned the living room, I mentioned the dining table, and the bedroom. Those are big no-nos, and do all the things that I mentioned to have peace, okay? I even dare to say have a retreat. You deserve it, all right? So now we're going to look at another area, and that will be how to implement tech-free zones. How to implement it. It's one thing choosing a tech-free zone, but how do we implement it? So I'm going to go through a few points, okay? Set clear expectations. It's important that we set clear expectations. Important, really so, okay? And so setting rules is one thing. Getting everyone to follow them is another, okay? So we've got to make sure that the expectations on compliance are clear or is clear. Have a family discussion and agree on which spaces will be tech-free. It's important that those are out of the way straight away. This is what we're doing. This is our discussion. We agree. If you don't agree, why don't you agree? Settle the conflict, if any, but establish and set clear expectations, okay? A second, use a charging station, okay? I call it Kum. Place all devices in a central spot to reduce temptation. Some of these things are outrageous for those who really don't plug into this kind of thing. But honestly, when you think of the dangers that these things can have, apart from the real danger of the blue light and the fixation on the screen, it's just all the other things that add up if tech is not handled properly that you expose your child or children to unnecessarily. So having downtime, having a separate place, what are you going to call it, a sacred place, where the kids and you can switch off tech, switch off the digital, and be real again, be a human being, okay? So a charging station will help. Place all devices in a central spot to reduce temptation. This content is ticking some boxes with you already. Please like it and comment, and we can pick up the discussion later on after this broadcast. Okay, let's look at another one. And this is the one that I said that tickled me when I said I was suggesting some games, and I laughed and said you'll find out why I was laughing. Lead by example. Okay, can't stretch that enough. Parents, lead by example. So all this doesn't happen if we don't comply. It starts with us. Okay, it starts with us, starts with you. Mom, yes, you. And dad, you. Everybody who is older, it starts with us because the kids are watching. Okay, it starts with us. If we want our kids to unplug their devices, we need to show them how. And not just show them how if we're in the dining room, in the living room, or in the bedroom. When we show them how, we leave it there. Not just showing them and say, do as I say, but don't do as I do, or whatever it is we say. But it's important that we lead by example, okay? And the last point that I would love to pass your way would be introduce alternatives. You know, it's so difficult. Online has taken over, we know that, and we can't run away from it. It's fact. The online space is what engages us as a family. It's just the reality. And so rather than deny it, we stand up to it. Okay? So digital is here and is going nowhere, but we can introduce alternatives. Keep books. I remember having a bookshelf it's in the wrong place. My bookshelf, it's so shameful. My bookshelf is actually in the visitor's bedroom when it should be, in a place that I, go to regularly. But keep books. If you have I was going to say showcase, but if you have a bookcase, is that what they call it? I'm sure that's what they call it. You see, I don't even know what it's called because I don't have one decent one. But keep books, puzzles, or board games in your tech-free areas to make them inviting. When you go to visit a clinic, or you have books around, you don't have iPads lying down on the table, or mobile phones littered on the table. They actually keep actual books. Do people still read books? Yes, they do. So keep them in your tech-free areas to make them inviting. Encyclopedias, put them there. Put the regular, if you don't know why it's just the clinics that are showing up in my head right now. But if you go to places where families frequent, because they know they have to engage the kids, they have play areas, they're not digital, they're Paco, all right? But introduce those alternatives, and you'll find, since we're talking about digital wellness and balance, that you will have balance in the home, okay? It's been longer than it needed to be, but I'm sure you will agree that it was necessary, okay? After all, technology is just a tool, but without boundaries, it can take over our lives. Creating tech-free zones at home is a simple way to reclaim quality time and strengthen family bonds, okay? If you found this or these tips helpful, please don't forget to like this video, subscribe. Subscription is free. And when you do this, you will be exposed, or at least you get to watch more family-focused digital wellness tips. Okay? And drop a comment while you're at it, sharing your thoughts. Let's build stronger, healthier families together. One tech-free space at a time. To tomorrow, same time, I've been your host, Lawrence Edem. God bless and goodbye.